Good morning. I'm Dr. Alicia Beck Cobb, principal of Billy Earl Dade Middle School. Thank you for joining us for the dedication of our gorgeous new school. We're so pleased to have you here today. Your presence truly demonstrates your support. To begin our program, please stand for the presentation of the colors and the Pledge of Allegiance by our own Dade Middle School Leadership Cadet Corps under the direction of Sergeant First Class Other Stewart.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to the Texas, one state, under God, one indivisible.
This has been a great first year at Dade. We are fully utilizing every available space of this state-of-the-art building. And of course, we're honored to have our school named for an outstanding leader, teacher, and educator, Dr. Billy Earl Dade. As administrators and educators, I and my staff hope that our impact is as far-reaching and meaningful as the accomplishments of Dr. Dade. His sense of community, optimism, and hope are attributes all educators should possess. We have an amazing program of speakers and entertainment this morning. Throughout it, you will hear more about Dr. Dade's accomplishments and his impact on our community. Let's get started. At this time, I would like to introduce our District 9 trustee, Bernadette Nuttall. First elected in 2009, Trustee Nuttall has been an outspoken advocate for quality schools for more than a decade. She is dedicated to ensuring excellence in education for every student, as evidenced by the time and personal resources she devotes to supporting families and youth in this community. Most importantly, Mrs. Nuttall is a friend of Billy Earl Dade Middle School. At this time, I would like to welcome District 9 trustee Bernadette Nuttall.
It is a wonderful day in sunny South Dallas. We're getting our first school. We hadn't had a new school in over 10 years. So we have a brand new school in sunny South Dallas. So yes. Thank you to the community and to the bond work. To the community and for the bond in 2008. And thank you, Principal Cobb, and good morning again to parents, students, teachers, and community members, and to the Dade family. Thanks to each of you for sharing in this wonderful, special day in sunny South Dallas. Occasions like these are among my favorite duties as a trustee. Saluting a deserving role model, recognizing dedicated staff, and looking into faces of bright, promising students with a great future. What could be better? So it is a privilege to be with you, to see your smiles and delight at the opportunity of the great things happening in South Dallas, and the opportunity to change so many lives for the better, our children. So to the family of Dr. Billy Earl Dade, our warmest wishes out to you. Like you, we are proud to have the name grace this school, and it's the heart of our community. All schools are. Billy Earl Dade, the school and the individual, have a significant history in this community. Dr. Dade served as a teacher, a principal, a college professor, and a mentor for decades. His influence reached beyond the classroom, way beyond the classroom. And many of the students he mentored have reached impressive levels of success. Students, I challenge you today to continue that legacy on, to keep Dr. Dade's light shining in our community. Let it be said that the students of Billy Earl Dade Middle School are among the best and the greatest, the best scholars, the best teachers, and you guys are going to be the best of the best. My hope for each of you is when you reach the highest of your success as college graduates, teachers, attorneys, doctors, and maybe even an elected official, you will look back in pride and say, I went to Billy Earl Dade Middle School. Keep your eyes always on the prize. Stay focused, students. Dream big, dream real big. Work hard and always be proud of who you are and where you come from. To the community, continue to reach out to our students. Support our students and our school. Give back. We need volunteers. And help make the dreams come true for our students. Let's all remain focused to keep Billy Earl Dade's name alive. Thank you.
I'm honored to introduce our next speaker, Superintendent of Schools Mike Miles. His Destination 2020 plan is for Dallas ISD to graduate every student ready for college and careers. He is leading the charge to develop that roadmap to student excellence. I can certainly agree with his view that education is the most important work of our time. We're delighted that he has joined us for this important occasion in the life of our school. Mr. Miles will be followed by the Honorable Eric Johnson, a native son who has served the voters in District 100 in the Texas House of Representatives since April 2010. In addition to representing the interest of Dallas area voters through his service on 4 prominent House committees, Representative Johnson serves on the Joint Oversight Committee on Higher Education. We will hear from him in just a moment, but first, please welcome Superintendent Mike Miles.
You know, I didn't know Dr. Billy Earl Dade, but I think he would be proud of this day, this building that has been built in his honor, but more than that, the community members who have come out to support the school. His friends, no doubt, his family, no doubt, but also all the other community stakeholders who are here to support the kids of Dallas ISD and especially Billy Earl Dade. I think Dr. Dade would also be impressed with or support the direction of the district to graduate college and career-ready students. Dr. Dade had 4 degrees, a bachelor's, 2 masters, and a doctorate. That's a lesson to us young folks, young people here, that that sort of education is priceless. And with that sort of education, he could give back and make wonderful strides for the community, for this school, this neighborhood, and for his family. And we encourage all of our students and teachers to strive to be like Billy Earl Dade. I really appreciate Trustee Nuttall's remarks about how great this school can be. And I also have a wish for this school, and it's the Wizard of Oz wish. The first is that we honor the intelligence. Our kids are intelligent, we just have to bring it out. It's just like the straw man in the Wizard of Oz. We, teachers, administrators, community, just need to nurture that and bring it out of our kids. They start with that intelligence basis, and we know they can succeed. We know they can succeed. We know the kids at Billy Earl Dade can live up to the dream and challenge that Trustee Nuttall gave us today. And the second is heart. And by heart, we mean the heart of our teachers in the communities, to care for our kids, to care for one another, to care for those who may be less fortunate, and to care for all who support Dallas ISD, and especially the kids of Billy Earl Dade and their families in the community, just like the Tin Man in his heart. And then finally, I hope for courage. courage for this school, courage for the administrators and the community to do the tough things that need to be done to make sure this is the school that will graduate kids who are ready for the year 2020, the year 2030. It ain't going to be easy. It never has been. And Billy Earl Dade is going to face some challenges too. And we need all of us to be courageous and support our kids, even in the tough times, even in the challenging times that all of us might face in the future. So that's my hope for this school, the Wizard of Oz hope, to bring out our intelligence of our students who have it in their hearts, and the community that will have courage to get it done. Thank you for your time today, and thanks for being here in honor of this great man.
I bring you greetings from Austin, Texas, from the Texas House of Representatives. And I just want to say to all of you assembled here today that I'm very honored to have been asked to be a part of today's dedication of what I'm calling the latest jewel in the crown that is South Dallas. So I'm really glad to be here and glad to be a part of this. If you've studied art history at all, or even if you've ever been to a grand structure, a grand building, when they design capitals, state capitol, the U.S. Capitol, those buildings have a lot of features and things that are meant to inspire the people who are going to be working there and who enter those spaces to be better than they have been and to rise to their highest level and achieve the highest that they can achieve. There's always been this belief that buildings aren't just buildings, that buildings aren't just spaces that keep us safe from the elements, but that they can actually inspire human beings to achieve great things. And just like a state capitol or a church, a synagogue can inspire people, certainly our institutions of education and the buildings that we house our students in can do the same thing. So when I drive down Grand and I see this building, this beautiful structure, it inspires me certainly, but it's my hope that it will inspire all the students who attend school here every day to be the best students they can be. They'll inspire the teachers who teach here every day to teach with as much gusto and effort and care and concern for our kids as they can muster. They'll inspire the administrators to manage this school and to manage our district to the best of their ability. They'll inspire the parents who drop their kids off at this school every day to be the best parents and to be the most involved parents they can be. And then lastly, but certainly not least, they'll inspire this entire community that sees this beautiful school here to try to take care of this school, to try to take care of this community that's around this school, and that this school will be a rallying point for the community, a place where we can come together to try to make our entire community better. So it is my hope and belief that the new Billy Earl Dade Middle School will be more than just a place that we keep ourselves safe from the elements, but it'll be a place that will inspire all of us to be all that we can be, and that our students will have a wonderful launching pad to a great future because they went to school here. So with that being said, thank you for allowing me to be a part of your program, and let's all have a great experience here today. Thank you very much.
Our next speaker is an important elected official charged with making important decisions that affect the lives of all of us in this community. Dallas Mayor Mike Rawlings has called on businesses across the community to get involved in making schools successful. His Grow South initiative has focused important attention on the needs of our schools. We are delighted that he is here today to get to know us a little better. Mayor Mike Rawlings.
My job is simple today. It is to congratulate you. Board of Trustees, you've worked hard. Citizens of Dallas, you've raised the money. Mr. Miles, you've led us through a couple of years of trying to say we can do better. And so today is a day we celebrate. We celebrate our accomplishments. Yes, we've got a lot of work to do in the future. The city of Dallas has a lot to work to do. We've got to make sure we do our part outside the schools to make sure our kids are safe, our neighborhoods are inspiring, where people want to move into them, and fill up these halls with the best and the brightest. I will be supporting Councilwoman Davis and future council people to do just that, and we will make sure we do it. But today is a celebration. We've scored big time here. We've won a big game here. Everybody in this city needs to look at this. And I just want to say a moment, I'm a big believer in intelligence and heart and courage, but I like the truth too. And the truth is, Dallas cares about our children. The truth is, we can do this. And the truth, if anybody wants to report the truth, that these young men and women are ready to take on the future. There's a lot to be done, but right now, I'm betting on it. It's going to happen. You can feel the mojo, can't you, Senator? You can feel it right now. And if we can do this and we do our part at the city, Dallas will be a place that the whole nation will be looking at. I was with the president this week, and he knows education is at the forefront of this city's task. He encouraged us to keep our eye on the prize, as Ms. Nuttall said, to keep pushing, to make sure that we provide the best possible environment, and we challenge these kids to be the best. No second best. Ms. Nuttall said it. We've got to be the best of the best. Thank you for your support in the community, and students, get ready. You're going to go on a big ride here, okay?
There's nothing like starting a new school year in a new school. You meet new students, you watch them grow and mature as they discover their own personal special gifts that make them unique. This dedication is a great opportunity for our students to shine bright, for our parents and faculty to show our immense pride in their accomplishments. I appreciate our teachers who generously share their experience to help our students develop their gifts and talents. From our cheerleaders, led by Lori Hawkins and Mrs. Newman, our graphics and art teachers, Ms. Jackson and Ms. Witten-Atkins, we are so blessed to have a cadre of dedicated and resourceful teachers. And now we want to show off a little bit. Please welcome the Dade Middle School Choir under the direction of Aaron Easley performing Fast Your Dreams. Our next speaker is a city leader who has served this community since 2007. She works with the community as it is to help it become the community we know it can be. Councilmember Carolyn Davis, we thank you for serving as a vocal advocate for our community development, involvement, volunteerism, and education. Speaking of the community, Councilwoman Davis will be followed by someone who has long labored to make South Dallas a place which all its residents can be proud of. Dr. Alfred Roberts is a friend of the Dade family. We have him to thank for recommending to the Board of Trustees that our school be named in honor of Dr. Billy Earl Dade. He will share some remembrances of Dr. Dade. But first, let's give a big Vikings welcome to Councilwoman Carolyn Davis.
You know, I had a tear in my eyes when I saw those students perform, because that was me years ago. In a community, the community where I live, the community that I love, and the community that I will forever share. First of all, I want to thank the principal, Principal Cobb, thank you so much, to the teachers and to the students here. This is about moving forward in a community that have just gone through so many changes. I want to say to you, to the students here, live and move forward with your dreams. Don't let anyone tell you that you cannot succeed in life. When things are hard, look to the clouds and get on your knees and pray and ask God to strengthen you, because He can strengthen you at the end of the day. When you hear people talk and say bad things about this community, tell them, stop, because this is where I live. And it is a good community. It's a growing community. It's a community that's changing. It's a healthy community, and it's a community where we're going places. Here, just on this corner of Malcolm X and Grand, this school trustee, and superintendent has made a huge difference. And at night, isn't it gorgeous? It brightens up hope. And across the street, we are going to be looking at a new development. Can't tell you what it is, but it is going to be nice. Around us, South Fair CDC, Dr. Harry is on the board of South Fair. They are building new homes. Have you seen the homes? Aren't they nice? The Social Security Administration, across the street from this school, all of this development will work. We have to just be patient with the development. And to the parents, stay involved in your child's education. Even when they are not doing what you expect them to do, stay there with them. All children have a heart. You have to believe in them, you have to listen to them, and you have to get involved in the PTA. You have to get involved, and you cannot sit back on the sideline and complain if you're not involved. Ms. Cobb, can you come forward? I'm going to give you a special proclamation, and I'm not going to read it all. You can put this in your office. Whereas this school stands as a beacon of hope in this community, and whereas its success and the success of young people who will enter its doors and learn in its classroom will strengthen this community for years to come. It will strengthen our city, our state, and our nation for decades as well. Now, therefore, I, Carolyn R. Davis, on behalf of Mayor Mike Rawlings and the entire Dallas City Council of the City of Dallas, do hereby extend a special recognition to you, Billy Earl Dade Middle School, on this day, the 8th day of November, 2013. I, Carolyn R. Davis, and to the Dade family. Let's give her a hand, y'all. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is a grand day at 27 Grand Avenue at Malcolm X Boulevard. Why is this a grand day? The dedication of the Dr. Billy Earl Dade Middle School. I'll only use doctor at one time. I never did call him Billy Earl, so I had to use the doctor. This is a beautiful edifice, a landmark for South Dallas. When you come over the Malcolm X Bridge, when you hit about the middle of the bridge, you can see the skyline, and it's certainly a beautiful sight. The view from Grand Avenue, it looks like a community college. It's beautiful inside and outside. I prepared the nomination form to name the school across the street at 2801 Park Row, the Billy Earl Dade Learning Center. A group of individuals came together in 1999 to request and support the name change for that school. Some of those individuals are here today. I'm going to ask them to stand. Dr. Harry Robinson Jr. was the spokesperson. Alfred Roberts, John Alfred James, Jackie Abney, I saw her, Jackie Abney. Wilbur Williams, Arthur Fisher, he's here. Bill Townsend, Bill Henderson, I saw him. Dr. Theodore Lee, B.J. Muckledove, and others. And if I missed anyone, please stand. I'd like to thank you for your strong support, and I won't dwell on this particular concept because one of the board members reminded me this morning that when we moved into phase 2, we ran into some really serious challenges. So the committee is aware of that, and our hard work did pay off. The Board of Education did approve the dedication of the school across the street. The naming rededication ceremony was held on March 12, 2000. In 2012, this group came back together again for the naming of this building. Dr. Barbara Martin, Dr. Dade's daughter, flew in from Chicago. Joyce Foreman, Alpha Thomas, and some others joined us for this phase of the struggle. We are here today because of these individuals. We're here today because of the strong community support to name the school. Why name a school for Dr. Billy Earl Dade? He was an outstanding educator. He was an icon. He was a legend. I'm not going to tell you where he worked, but he did work in a couple of schools as a teacher and served in several schools as a principal. He did work at Bishop College, El Centro, Paul Quinn, and Prairie View A&M Extension as a college professor. Point 2, he was an intellectual giant, not pedantic, not showy, braggadocious, proficient in Latin, French, Spanish, English, and math was his love. He overlearned teachers, meaning he didn't need a textbook to teach. He could just start teaching without a reference. He tutored in his home. He tutored my daughter Lynn, Dr. and Mrs. Lee's daughter Theodora, and many others. A bit of humor. Mrs. Dade and I were students of his in the home for Latin. And he'd get so carried away, she'd just have to say, Bill, that's enough for today. But we did learn some Latin, I think. Point 3, we honor him today because he was a servant leader. He lives in this community. And I would encourage the faculty, staff, and teachers to highlight that particular point. His home is at 2606 South Boulevard. It's still there. Another family has purchased it. He came from humble beginnings, Mount Pleasant and Mount Vernon, Texas. He earned 4 degrees, and I encourage you to look at the exhibit and see those degrees, 2 master's degrees. Point 4, he mentored many educators. Joanna Ray, Mr. Muckera, Wilbur Williams, who's hiding in the back there, Fred Daniels, Bill Townsend, Arthur Fisher, Arthur Gillum, and other individuals, including yours truly. I didn't think I was ready to be a principal, but Dr. Dade encouraged me to take the test at that time. And in 1969, I became an intern and became principal at age 27. I received my doctorate from Texas A&M University. He was my mentor, proofread the thesis, and I know you know he certainly did a good job of that. So Dr. Dade leaves a legacy as a great educator. Over 50 years, he was an outstanding teacher. I want to share with you just 3 quotes. A teacher affects eternity. He can never tell where his influence stops. And that's by Henry Brooks Adams. Second quote, if you have knowledge, let others light their candles from it. That's by Margaret Fuller. And third, teachers touch the future from an unknown source. Dr. Dade's influence, as you've heard, is far-reaching. He shared his knowledge with many of us. He has impacted the future. Finally, there are beams from heaven shining on us today. The spirit of Dr. and Mrs. B.E. Dade. The spirit is in this auditorium, in the hallways, in the library, and throughout this building. They are saying to you, students, faculty, staff, parents, and others, do your very, very best. Excel, excel, excel. Make the Billy Earl Dade Middle School the best school in the nation. Thank you.
We have 2 very special guests with us today who not only share our love of Dr. Dade, but they're his family. I cannot say how proud I am to welcome Dr. Dade's daughters, Dr. Barbara Dade Martin and Ms. Billy Sanford. Before these ladies come on stage, I want to call up Mr. Dean Grant, a 7th grade student and a member of the Dade Middle School Leadership Cadet Corps, and a leader in the district LCC program. Did you know that we have 26 schools that have, middle schools that have the Leadership Cadet Corps? Each year, all the middle school LCC programs choose 2 cadets to compete for the brigade staff to represent the LCC program at the district level. Dean Grant was selected to be Brigade S4. This position covers the supply operation of the middle school programs. Dean has been promoted to the rank of Cadet Major to work with all of the middle school supply clerks at the school battalion level. In this position, he will ensure that other LCC units meet and maintain standards for supply operations. Dean is an A Honor Roll student, a member of the Future Leaders, and the commander of the Billy Earl Dade Middle School Color Guard. Today, he is presenting gifts to the Dade family. Dr. Martin and Ms. Sanford, will you please come and join us on stage?
It is an honor to be with all of you today and a privilege to represent such a great school. I am sure you saw all the doors mounted on the walls in the hallway as you entered our school. Well, each day as we enter and exit this school, we are constantly reminded of Dr. Dade's favorite quote, "Education is the doorway to opportunity." There are these sign doors that were presented at the topping out ceremony nearly a year ago. They remind us in a tangible way the important mission we have in front of us as students. Dr. Dade may not have been my personal mentor, but his legacy in this community and the people he has influenced over many decades are my mentors, all of our mentors. They are the people each day who influence us, encourage us, and even on occasion correct us. Thank you, Dr. Dade, for the vision you have for the students you haven't had a chance to meet. You have made a difference.
No greater nor more affectionate honor can be conferred on an American than to have a public school named after him. Herbert Hoover, 1956. It is indeed an honor to have this magnificent facility named for my father, Dr. Billy Earl Dade. It is the culminating point of his life's work. I'm so proud to have my children and my family members here to witness this dedication in his honor. Today I want to share some of my memories of my father that may help you to know how he felt about his life's work. At about age 7, I asked my dad, "How'd you get to be so smart?" Well, he went on to tell me that there were a lot more people smarter than he in this world. But he said, "I always wanted to go to school every day and learn as much as I could. I discovered that learning from my teachers and my school books was easy for me. The more I studied and the more I read, the more I enjoyed it. So you can be smart too, just as I am if you go to school every day, listen to your teachers, and do as they say." My father did not have parents that encouraged him to go to school every day. Both of his parents had third-grade education, and his father really felt that that was enough for my dad because he needed him at home to work in the fields and to do chores at home. Somehow that did not prevail. When my dad retired from DISD, and I think you all know what DISD is, after 44 years of service, he had never been absent, except for major surgery, or tardy in all those years. So education for him was something that you had to attend to every day. You didn't arrive late and leave early. This school, I know, is going to be the center of this community's life in this neighborhood. And it's going to be open year-round, and it'll be a place where students, teachers, and parents can learn and grow. So education for Dad was something that demanded his full attention. It was continuous, and you see, Dad was a lifelong learner. When I was in 5th grade, I told my father that my teacher had called me up to her desk and told me to stop getting frustrated with the pace of the math lesson. Just because I understood it, there were some other students who did not. My father told me he had felt like that in most of his classes. And he said to me, "You have to learn to share your knowledge and your abilities with others. Find someone you can help to understand what the teacher is saying." Well, we know now in the ideal classroom that students of all abilities can learn from each other. But the teacher has to be able to structure the classroom setting so that that can take place. Well, none of that took place in my classroom. But I did observe plenty instances of my dad sharing his knowledge and ability with others. Of course, teaching is a form of sharing your knowledge with others. And I witnessed friends and family come to our home with forms and papers needing help to understand them. And Dad was always available. When my mother was pursuing a master's degree, Dad did a lot of sharing of his knowledge. And I recall one instance that was pretty funny. I was in the room and Daddy was sitting in his favorite chair reading a book. And Mother had some something that she needed for a course that was due right away, and she needed Daddy's help. And she was pressuring him, "Daddy, Bill, you gotta do this, you gotta." So he raised up from his book and looked over his glasses like I'm looking at you now. "You know, I have a master's degree. You're trying to get one." And instead of what I need to do, maybe you better think about what you need to do. Well, what Mother was trying to do was to get that quick answer and avoid that mini lesson. You didn't ask Daddy a question and he just give you the answer. You had to hear that lesson. And she was trying to avoid that. I went on out of the room because I know she wasn't going to get that unless she listened. And pretty soon I heard Dad talking to her, teaching her. But his most notable form of sharing his knowledge came when DISD teachers were required to pass the state test, TCAT, in order to keep their jobs. Can you imagine that after having taught school for many years, the state decides that all of its teachers need to have passed a test to remain employed? Can you also imagine all the teachers with car, house notes, kids in college, depending on that pension for later years? Gone if you don't pass. I was no longer living in Dallas at that time, but he opened up his home to many teachers and tutored, shared his knowledge in order for them to pass that test. I understand that many did pass, and were very grateful to Dad for helping them to keep their jobs. He shared his knowledge and his time for free, a noble gesture to help his fellow man. So let's look again at what education meant to my dad. It was something you had to attend to, meaning you had to be present and attentive in body and mind. You had to practice. It was continuous, and it should be shared. Some of you may know or not that my dad was my mother's teacher. There was 5 years difference in their ages. My mother had finished high school in her hometown. My dad came to that town to teach night classes for high school students who were interested in going to college. Mother signed up for the course, and that is where they met, and you know the rest of the story. Here we are. My father was also my classroom teacher on one occasion. I was home from college after my freshman year. He invited me to enroll in an ed philosophy course he was teaching, and it was a state-required course for a teaching certificate. I was working with my mother at the nursery school, filling in for personnel who wanted some vacation time. His course was at night, so I agreed to attend. But the class didn't start for about a week, and I got real nervous. I began to think about some of our sessions of helping with the homework between me and my dad, and I remember those books slamming on the kitchen table, and me getting talks about my teenage attitude. And by the way, I hadn't turned 20 at that time either. I was still a teenager. However, I convinced myself that this would be okay. We drove to class that first night. Class went well, in my opinion. We collected our things and got in the car for the ride home. He starts the car and says, "Why didn't you raise your hand when I asked such and such?" My stomach did a flip and my eyes rolled. I said, "Oh, this is it, this is it. I'm gonna be critiqued every night after class about my participation." Well, he went on to explain why participation was important. And that didn't happen again because I raised my hand and participated. The exchange of ideas between my father, myself, and the other students made for an interesting class that summer. And the message to me was that true education is participatory. To participate in discussions and actions with others increases all participants' knowledge base. Because not only do I share my knowledge with you, you get to give me feedback which may cause you or me to change some thoughts or ideas that I thought to be true. Do you recall seeing participates in class on your report card? A participatory classroom provides vital feedback to the teacher and the students. Let's look again at Dad's educational philosophy. It must be attended to by you. In other words, you need to be attentive, in attendance. You cannot leave it up to others. Dad would often say to me, "Do not depend on teachers to teach you all you need to know to make it in this world." So education for Dad had to be shared, continuous, didn't stop after you left the schoolhouse door, didn't stop at 8th grade, didn't stop at high school, didn't stop at one master's degree, and it was participatory. Now I'll share with you some of the things that I observed growing up with my parents and how these things related to how they both felt about education. As my parents became more educated, I began to see a change in some of the literature that they read. Some other books were added to the bookshelves and the coffee table. New books on etiquette, manners, which fork to use when, fashion, telling what to wear, where, and what not to wear, there, and travel. I felt they both thought that a well-educated man and woman needed a fine sense of decorum. I really think Mother was buying those books and putting them out there for Daddy to read. I saw their horizons begin to broaden. They did travel. They became more involved with their church, fundraisers, and other activities for their alma mater, Bishop College. In a sense, a lot of giving back to help others with money and their time. So the knowledge of what they had accomplished through education had uplifted their spirits, and it had provided a stable financial income for them. They no longer had to struggle to put food on the table, and now they were ready to share their bounties with others. In this sense, education was functional. It provided a sense of self-worth and a stable income. So in summary today, my father's educational philosophy involved his full attention and attendance, an insatiable desire to learn more, the sharing of his knowledge, lifelong learning, continuous, participatory, and functional. So to the young people attending this school, give it your full attention. Learn all that you can and use what you've learned here to guide you to a bright future.
This is such a great honor for my father and my family as well. On occasion like this, you try to choose the right words to describe just how you feel. Filled with tremendous emotions and humble gratitude, I asked myself, what should I say to you today? Suddenly the answer came to me. Give them an idea of what your father would do or say if he was here today. So here's my idea of what he might do and some of the things he might say. At the initial groundbreaking and the daily construction of this beautiful place, nothing would keep him from watching and thinking, I wish they'd speed up the pace. Every second would feel like minutes, and hours would feel like days. Daddy would be anxious to get this school open so he could take his place. Until the first day of school and the sound of the first bell, constantly he would work on all his favorite lessons to teach the students and all the teachers as well. A daily visitor he would be, challenging and providing wisdom to all he would see. Tearfully, but yet smiling, he would stand back looking at this beautiful school and say to himself, how did I receive such an honor when I just did what I love to do? Oh God, why me? My teaching was not done for fame. Remember me, God? I was just a poor farm boy who worked hard to reach the goals I desired to attain. So when they named this beautiful school with my father's name, I know his memory as a great educator and his love for teaching will always remain. God can take broken pieces and make a masterpiece. When God molded my father, he was truly creative, to say the least. He knew he would accept challenges regardless of the opposition. He knew he would see potential and the best in every individual. He knew his greatest desire would be to educate and motivate everyone he knew. He knew his seeds of wisdom planted years ago would always be in bloom. He knew he would touch, influence, and improve lives forever. He knew he would help us love to learn and inspire us to make our lives better. God made him a master teacher like none other he has made before. God made him a great father who I will love forevermore. Thank you.
To Dr. Dade's daughters, we will continue to make you and your family proud. Now we want to share some of the phenomenal features that make our school building special. If anyone knows this building better than we do, it is Mr. Ed Levine. He is the executive director of the Dallas ISD Construction Services and knows not only the big picture, but the key details of Dade Middle School. Please welcome Mr. Levine.
You know, when we finish construction of our beautiful buildings, we in Construction Services feel a deep sense of satisfaction. But it's still just a building. It doesn't come alive as a school until it's filled with teachers, staff, and students. That transformation is what inspires us to continue to do what we do, and for that, we give thanks to all of you. There's something special about new buildings, and especially new schools. They serve to invigorate the area around them. You can feel the energy in the neighborhood around the new school while it's going up, and especially as it nears completion. But most of our buildings are quietly elegant. After they're built, they whisper, "Look at me, I'm the new building. I quietly fit in, I'm nice looking, I serve a worthy purpose." But this building shouts. There's nothing quiet about it, it shouts, "I'm special. I deserve to be looked at. I deserve to be respected. I deserve to be admired, from near and far." That's the legacy of the architect's vision. Darren, if you'd stand so everybody can acknowledge you. Darren James, it's his vision. This is a building that shouts with pride, and it's filled with students who are also inspired to feel admired, respected, and filled with deserved pride. I would be remiss if I didn't specifically acknowledge the amazing collaborative effort that was exhibited in the construction of this new facility. This building was constructed within budget and in a time duration that was about 2/3 of what our typical construction times are for middle school construction. S&P 3I, thank you very much. Couldn't have done that without you and without all the collaborative efforts. Appreciate that. Now, some specifics about this school. Billy Earl Dade Middle School was built for $36.3 million. Yeah, that's not pocket change. It's a 3-story building, 213,600 square feet. Total campus is 15 acres. It can serve up to 1,000 students, grades 6 through 8, has 43 classrooms, plus 8 science labs and 4 computer labs. There's computer connectivity throughout the building. Every classroom has state-of-the-art digital technology. It has a beautiful, elegant auditorium, fine art spaces, band, orchestra, choir, drama, and art rooms, 2 gymnasiums, administrative space, beautiful media center with amazing views. You can see a display of G's quilts up there. They served as an inspiration for the conceptual design of the building. The colorful cafeteria with natural lighting. There's a youth and family center here which offers health screenings and counseling to the community. And there's spacious outdoor athletic areas, provide baseball, softball, football, soccer, tennis, and basketball fields outdoors. And of course, as already mentioned, the artistic display of original doors in the lobby, a tribute to Billy Earl Dade's quote, "Education is the doorway to opportunity." If you didn't notice them when you walked in, please take a look at them on your way out. They're really special. Billy Earl Dade Middle School is a beautiful and thoughtfully designed facility that reflects the rich cultural heritage of this surrounding neighborhood and can and has served as the catalyst for future development in this area. The magnificent views of the Dallas skyline will be inspirational for the students and faculty. This building was designed in accordance with the Texas Collaborative for High Performance Schools, providing standards for sustainability and energy efficiency that make Dallas ISD a good steward of taxpayer dollars and the Earth's natural resources. Those features are geothermal heating and cooling systems, which have proved to save between 30% and 40% on energy costs in all our buildings, highly reflective roofing, use of natural daylighting through large glass areas, energy-efficient lighting systems, insulated windows, recycled materials in the flooring, carpeting, plastics, and many other materials, and the landscaping was selected to conserve water resources. Students, I'd like to ask you guys something now. A request for you. This school became a reality because voters, including your families, supported this bond program. And tax dollars, including those from your families, built this school and will continue to support its operation. So it's really your school. I ask all of you to help us maintain it so it always looks this good. Construction services thank you. Construction Services is very proud to have been part of the team that created this new school, and we look forward to many years of its service to the community. Thanks, and have a great day, guys.
To all of our participants, greeters, cheerleaders, the Leadership Cadet Corps, Student Council, choir, band, art students, you have made this dedication one to remember, and you have made me, the principal, so very proud to be here. Once again, we want to thank our community leaders, members, and friends and partners for all of your support. We cannot make Dr. Billy Earl Dade Middle School the success we know it can be without you. So please come again, come often, and get to know us.